Good evening, everyone. This is Eugene from ET Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing the Bitsy by FidgetHQ. The Bitsy from FidgetHQ is currently being sold at $18 US. It weighs 70 grams and has a 55 millimeter diameter. Overall, it's a good looking spinner. Some of you might have seen something like this similarly before, but this is a much smaller version of the molecule. And just for comparison's sake, I actually do own the larger molecule, and I will hold it side by side for comparison. It is much smaller than the molecule that I got from FastTech. I believe the one on the right is also available on Amazon. I'm not sure how much longer it will stay available on Amazon, but the one on the left is the Bitsy by FidgetHQ. I have average sized hands, so you can actually see the difference in size. The FastTech molecule is actually a non-standard bearing. I believe it should be a 608 in there. And it's not really removable unless you have a mechanism to do so. With the Bitsy though, the bearing is a R188 bearing, and is removable, which makes it a much nicer spinner overall, just because you can get to change out bearings as and when you like it too. So I think that is what I prefer overall. Very similar style to the molecule. So I'll just show you the insides of the molecule to begin with. Okay. Okay, I will no longer talk about the molecule, but now I'll just be talking about the Bitsy. The Bitsy itself is really nice. Functions pretty much exactly similar to the molecule. It has 6 removable arms, and it comes at with a polished finish. This might be a problem for some people, but I haven't really found it to be much of a problem. Overall, the buttons fit the Bitsy very nicely. It is stainless steel everywhere. So it might be a fingerprint magnet, but I haven't found much problems with it. One comment about the button though, it feels a lot like the Kong button, but it's definitely not, because there is no divot in there. It would have been quite nice to have the Kong button on there, just with the extra little divot, but other than that, not too big of a deal. Now I'm going to talk about the fidgetability of it. So the fact is that this has 6 arms, and the fidgetability comes in the form that, well, you can just remove the arms and it gives you a lot of things to do when you're playing with it. So there are multiple configurations with it. This is with all 6 arms attached. You can see it does actually look really cool with all 6 arms attached to it. You could remove arms one at a time. So with 5 arms, it just feels like a super wobbly spinner. If you do remove the other arm, you can do 4 arms. But 4 arms, technically, I would feel that it is more of a bar spinner at this point. And this will experience, you will experience the wobble, just like you would on a bar spinner. But it does use 4 arms. I would not really say that this is a 4-arm spinner, because 4-arm spinner would be in the shape of a more 90-degree X rather than something like this. There is a 3-arm configuration in which you have to do a little shuffling around of arms and removing this other one. So this is your standard 3-arm spinner, tri-spinner, and surprisingly, even with 1 less arm, this is more stable in the 3-arm configuration than the 4 arms that I just previously showed you. Now I can do a little bit more switching things out, and I can switch this to a 2-arm spinner entirely. And again, you will feel the wobble on this one as well. Now, the last one. This is the one-arm spinner. I believe that there is the magnet, the one with the ball. I'm not sure what it's called at this point, but it functions similar. It doesn't function very well as a spinner, but it is something nice to play with, just for a little variety. If it keeps the arm attached, the version with the magnet, sometimes the ball falls out or it doesn't travel very smoothly. So this is a very, very good replacement for the other spinner, or the one with the magnet, the neodymium magnet. Overall, and then if you remove the last arm, this is a glorified Kong, if you ask me. And that's why I suggested the Kong buttons on this thing as well. Just that it would have a lot more variety in its configurations. Not that it doesn't need any more, it's just something nice to have. So more than likely a set of Kong buttons would actually work on this spinner very, very well. Now that everything's been said, there are a few things that I would like to point out with this spinner. The very big deal that I find is when they're all 6 arms attached. Now, because this is slightly smaller than the FastTech molecule, in terms of flicking while you're spinning, for one-handed operation, if you finger flick like this in this position, and you try to flick pretty hard, if you don't pull your finger out fast enough, this action can really, really hurt. And I don't like that. I don't even know that I should call it a hot spot, because it's not really a hot spot, but it does catch your finger for people who like to put their fingers into the spot and do a flick like this. We'll get used to a different stance probably, but I find that if there are times that I do forget and I stick my finger in there a little bit too deep, and it gets caught as I try to release it. And when it does do that, it does hurt the nail portion of the finger, well, depending on the direction that you're flicking. This is the biggest issue that I found with this spinner. Other than that, I really enjoy this just for the modularity of it, to go from 6 arms, 4 arms, 3 arms, 2 arms, and 1 arm. I really cannot recommend the 5-arm configuration. It doesn't do anything but add to my anxiety just because it wobbles that much. Other than that, I think for the price point, I believe it's a really, really good spinner. It feels really cool. The 6-arm spin is very, very stable. It's probably comparable to most radial spinners out there, in my opinion. I would rank it probably at a A+, if not an S-. We'll see as I update the ranking tier list for ET reviews. I do have a lot more videos to upload and to complete. I do have a lot more reviews as well. It's been really, really busy with the store at Spinetic, but I hope to keep churning these things out for you, these reviews out for you guys, such that you guys can be continuing to stay informed about spinners out there. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. Thanks, and good night.